Hi, welcome to the Get Ready with God podcast. My name is Julie Taylor, and I am your host, and I am not God. Obviously, I'm not an expert. I'm not even a scriptorian. I'm literally just a girl sitting in front of a microphone hoping God is real. The Get Ready with God podcast is the daily devotional podcast to help you see divinity in every day. Every time I do the intro like that, I wonder, what if this was someone's first time listening to this, and they think that's how I did it every time. Here's the treat. If you listen to this podcast, you know I do it a little bit different every time. Anyways, happy you're here. I want to talk about guilt. Why do guilt and faith go so hand in hand? Because we've been sold transactional relationships with God in most forms of religion. That's one thing. 2, guilt serves a purpose. Yes. Yes, it does. Guilt can be a good thing. It can be a red flag. It can be the thing that helps us understand that we are out of alignment of our values, priorities, choices. And it can be a good signifier to get back onto a path that we like or to change paths, build a new one. It can be a guiding force. Guilt can guide us. It can be a nice thing. It can be a guardrail. But the guilt narrative has just been kind of overtaken and used to serve other people's agendas. So people take guilt and they manipulate it into making it mean whatever they actually want you to do. And so that's when guilt can get a little bit blurry because it's not always this pure, inherent, divinely given red flag to help us. It's sometimes been manipulated into something to control us. So as I have really transformed my relationship with God to be not transactional anymore, I experience far less guilt because I don't think that I'm trying to earn God's love. I don't think that I'm trying to earn God's closeness. It has been proven to me over and over and over again that God never leaves and that his connection to me is not necessarily dependent on how obedient I am to X, Y, or Z. That's something that I believe in my core. I've experienced too much to still think that that's how it is. However, lately, probably because I've been going to therapy, it's been coming up for me a lot that I carry a lot more guilt for things than I understood, and that this guilt is kind of really controlling me. So I've been unpacking that in therapy, but it's made me think about guilt because I thought I had a good relationship with guilt. But what I'm learning about this next chapter of guilt that I've been experiencing is that guilt, while yes, there's a time when it can serve as a good guidepost for us, it actually kills productivity. It kills change. It kills progress because when we get stuck in guilt, feeling guilty and feeling bad about ourselves actually is not helpful. What we do with the guilt can be helpful, but I think a lot about like mom guilt, and it's something I deal with a lot. I think that mom guilt is kind of universal because it's hard to be certain about how we're parenting. I don't think anyone really knows what they're doing, and every situation is so different that even when you get other people's opinions and advice, it doesn't necessarily help because it's like, well, this is my situation and these are my needs and these are my kids and here's what we need to do. And you really do kind of have to figure out on your own. And I think that's why we talked about so vital to invite divinity into these conversations, because that's the validation and peace that we need to seek, not other people approving of our choices. But I've just been really seeing how guilt just really traps you into feeling bad. And sometimes we're guilty not because we're doing something wrong. So this is where I've been at personally. I'll just give you a little actual example of I've been feeling guilty about my schedule in my life and how busy I am. And I don't like to identify as busy, but it's just like a lot of word salad to help me feel better about what I'm choosing to identify with, right? But I've always said I don't like to identify with busy. Well, that's cute. Any way you slice it right now, I'm busy. I'm busy from 5 a.m. till 10 p.m., 11 p.m., every single night, 7 days a week. And it's not really how I like to live. And so I've been searching for the problem because I feel guilty about it because I think there's something wrong. So I've been like, what do I need to let go of? What am I doing wrong? Why am I just have been digging and digging and digging. Like there has to be something wrong because I don't like living like this and it doesn't feel good. And I feel guilty. I feel guilty all the time. I feel guilty that I'm not a good enough mom. I feel guilty that I'm not a good enough employee. I feel guilty that I'm not a good enough friend. I feel guilty that I'm not good enough at my church responsibilities. I feel guilty in my marriage. I feel guilty in every single place in my life right now because I don't feel good enough. I don't feel like I'm doing a good enough job in any aspect of my life because I see other people who are doing it better. And it's not even like a comparison of like, oh, I'm putting myself down. It's just like I see other people who are doing it in a way that I wish I could do it. Do any of them have my collection of circumstances? No. But that doesn't really matter. It's still just I feel guilty all the time because I feel like I want to be doing a better job. And I can't quite be enough in any place in my life right now because it's so full. That's how it feels. And it drives a lot of guilt. And what I'm learning though, is that this guilt that I feel is not really serving a purpose. And so I thought that that guilt was a guardrail to show me what circumstances I need to change. And so I've been searching and digging and digging and digging for weeks specifically on what I need to change. Because I'm like, is this sustainable? Is this right? Is this whatever? And the conclusion I'm coming to is that nothing's wrong. This is just what it looks like to live my life right now. I'm in a high demand phase of life. Everything is demanding. My job is demanding. My kids are demanding. My book is demanding. Like my goals are demanding. My relationships are demanding. This is just what it looks like to do this many things. And they're all good things. And the guilt made me want to find a problem because I thought like, oh, the guilt means I need to change something. What the guilt actually has been doing, I think instead, it's like, I'm just going to ask you this question. Do you feel, whoa, Utah accent, pardon me. Do you feel guilty because you need to change something? Do you feel guilty because you're doing something wrong? Or do you feel guilty because you don't think you're worthy of the goodness and opportunities and divine connection in your life? Maybe you're like, no, Julie, everything sucks right now. There's no goodness to be found. But do you feel worthy of the help that you're maybe being offered? If a solution does enter your life, do you feel worthy of accepting it? Do you feel worthy of receiving the divine help or the human help that's being sent to you, that's coming in? Do you feel guilty because you need to change something, or do you feel guilty because you don't feel worthy of divinity, help, aid, and goodness in your life? That's the question of the day for me. Because I wanted so bad, I think, the guilt to be a signifier that I was doing something wrong or I needed to change something, because often that's how it has been in my life. But that's not the case right now. Not that I'm perfect and doing everything right. That's not it. But there's not actually some big change that needs to happen right now. I just need to find ways to make it sustainable. So that's the road I'm going down now. But the guilt, I think I just don't feel worthy of, will I ever feel like I'm good at things? Will I ever feel like I'm a good parent? Will I ever feel like I'm good at my job? Will I ever feel like my book is good enough to release? Will I ever feel like this podcast is worth anything? That's a deeper problem. That's not circumstantial. And that can't actually be solved through changing something. So I want you to explore your relationship with guilt and the guilt that you're feeling. Is it because you need to change something? Is it because you're doing something wrong? Is it because you need to do something different? I don't even like to say wrong, just different. Or is it just something that you're stuck in because you can't actually feel worthy of things? And so you think the guilt is compensating that. So it's like, okay, well, I'll receive this help, but I'm going to feel guilty about it, and that will make me worthy of having it. That's messed up. And that will just keep you trapped in misery. So can we dig a little deeper? Can you explore guilt a little bit more? It's tricky. It's tricky because it's been, again, manipulated to control us in so many ways that it's really hard to get to the core of what you actually think, feel, and experience with guilt and what it's actually teaching you. So, you know my answer. You better invite God into it. I guess that's the only path. Oh, and I'm just going to say, because I eat a donut a day, people say things to me like, I could never. How do you do that? And they don't mean digestively. They mean like, oh, don't you feel guilty? No, I never will ever feel guilty for eating something delicious. Okay? Never. People are dying. People are suffering. We're going to waste our guilt on chocolate? Get real. Love you. Bye.